here at Cowgirl Dream Ranch for an obstacle schooling show with Bling and Arwin. We just got back from North Carolina yesterday at like 11:30 at night and got up for 9 a.m. to load the horses and come here today. So we're gonna do this show here. It's practice time right now, and I just finished doing a little practice with them. I don't like to use the whole time, and I'm not doing all the obstacles because I want to kind of save some that are just for the show to kind of see how they do, because they're on their third show now at this point. So we don't want to practice everything. We want to have a little bit of that experience of what would they be like in a real show scenario. But they had never done a combination of bridges before, of 3 bridges. So I'm going to show you guys how they handled that and how I helped them overcome that, because they didn't really know what to do with their feet, and they're both 2 different horses, so I handled it in 2 different ways. So I'm going to show you guys that, and we'll look at the highlights from Arwin and Bling at their 3rd show.
So we're going to take a look at the bridge sequence that they had set up at the show. So basically they took 3 different bridges and then combined them together in this Z shape to create kind of a pattern that you could do. So you don't have to do them all together as one series, but you would definitely save time if you did them separately. So here's a look at Arwin the first time. So he did pretty good. He got on the narrow bridge and whatnot. Just coming on to the last one, he swung his hips too far. So you can see I used the sideways towards me cue to ask him to bring his hind legs up onto the bridge. And then here's a look at his second time coming through. And so when I do this, I try to hold the horse relatively close under their chins, just so that way I can really guide them and try to keep them straight as best as possible. And you can see he still struggles a little bit, and you do have to be careful when you're doing that as well, that you don't guide them the wrong way, because then sometimes what can happen is they'll fall off and then they'll kind of blame you for it a little bit. So there he started to kind of struggle a little bit and got a little bit upset, so I just kind of slowed him down, paused him, and had him get back up on the bridge. And he's being a little bit clumsy with it, so ideally I probably should have had boots on him just in case he scraped himself, but I didn't think there was going to be anything too difficult in here, so I didn't have the boots on him. So I just have to be extra careful that I make sure he has the freedom to move his legs and that I don't cause him to fall on the bridge in such a way that he scrapes himself. So I just have to let him kind of I just have to be careful that I don't cause him to lose his balance. So he keeps kind of swinging his hip off this last bridge and not making the turn. So what I want to do is clarify for him, like, no, we have to get back up on this bridge here. And you'll notice I'm not giving him a cookie. And that's because he's at a point in his training where I want him to understand that I want you to give me 110% and figure out the puzzle. He doesn't need to be rewarded for each individual step anymore. He's past that point in his training. So I'm hoping that by not giving him the cookie, he realizes, like, oh, like there's something more that I'm after. So that's one of the benefits to positive reinforcement, is that you don't have to discipline or anything like that. You just have to time your reward at the right time. So there I offered him the treat because he went from the skinny bridge and he stepped up onto the other bridge without swinging his hips. So I was hoping to reward him in the right moment. But then because I stopped to give him the treat, he then kind of lost his balance and didn't continue on. But at least he understands what I was kind of after. So we're going to give it another try here. And I always like to kind of ask myself the question of, is what I'm asking the horse to do reasonable for where they are in their training? And if I think it is, then I'm going to be very patient and try to be as clear as I can with how I'm guiding the horse until they figure out what it is that I want. So that was actually really good there, because even though he kind of fell off the skinny bridge a little bit, he kept his feet always on that last bridge. And that was the first time he did that. So you'll notice I gave him more positive reinforcement with a cookie there to kind of really reinforce that behavior of, that's what I was looking for, is I don't want you to swing your hip onto that bridge. So here he has one foot that kind of steps off a little bit, and then he realizes he's supposed to go onto this other bridge, and he doesn't swing his hip, and that's exactly what I'm looking for him to do. So I want to make sure I praise and offer him another cookie there, so that way he understands what he's supposed to do. And this is a pretty tough task. It's a very narrow bridge that we're turning onto. So I didn't end up doing the bridge sequence as part of the competition because I just thought it's not something that we want to rush. And if he doesn't do it properly, I want to make sure that I take the time that I can go through it again. So he's doing really well making that corner, but now I want him to understand that he's not supposed to fall off the skinny bridge. So notice how I didn't give him a treat during that last trip. He turned the corner beautifully and stayed on the third bridge, but I want him to understand you also have to stay on the skinny bridge. So this time he stays on all 3 bridges, so he gets a cookie, and that's it for him. And just here's a little cute, adorable clip of him while the competition was going on. He was actually sleeping. He was like, I'm tired. I was in North Carolina yesterday. I'm a tired boy, and I'm going to just sleep while we're waiting for the competition to get going. So that was super adorable. So now we're going to take a little look at Bling. So this is Bling right after getting off the trailer. We haven't even taken the blankets off yet. And this is a huge improvement from where she was at before. So if you look at any of her videos from the first and the second horse show that we were at, basically before she would get off the trailer and she would do this like head banging thing where she'd bob her head and just be really nervous and kind of all over the place. Definitely not able to stand still. So here she goes to kind of change direction and whatnot. So a little bit of fidgeting, but overall so much more relaxed and so much better. So we're going to take a look at Bling and doing the bridge sequence. So for her, I wasn't even sure if she would be able to do this because she's so long in the body and she's still pretty stiff when it comes to lateral. So for her, you know, I just went slowly and then she kind of falls off the side here. So I don't even try to do the sideways towards me to bring her back up on the bridge. I actually just kind of turn her around and then I let her do this third bridge by herself. And that's because I didn't think physically it was a reasonable task to ask her to do that because she's still pretty klutzy with her feet. So I thought, well, what if I can at least break it down into the little steps where I can get her to do the turn on the bridge and stay on the bridge and hopefully like not totally fall off the edge like that. And the big issue is she's just not bending in her body really well. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just take it really slowly and try to guide her as best we can, and just looking for her to really go slow and think about her feet. And that's what I was really hoping for her to do. So she kind of steps off the one foot at the back, and you can see I'm trying to go really, really slowly. And here I'm going to offer her positive reinforcement because she didn't rush off the bridge. So I want to really encourage her for that behavior and kind of say thank you. That's what I was looking for. And then that's perfect. She walked right across it there. So I was like super stoked with that. That was really good for her.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video of these guys at their third show and how to help your horse learn how to do a bridge sequence. Bling ended up getting first place in the class. So I'm proud of these guys, and I'm proud that she was a lot more relaxed than what she was on the first 2 shows. So we're definitely making progress. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember to like this video, leave me a comment of what you thought, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the fun shenanigans. See you later.